Hi everyone, Dr. Suneel Dhand, medical doctor. Welcome to another video. Well, we've had some big news in the advancement of RFK that I wanted to share with you, and something that does really concern me regarding how RFK Jr.'s hands might be tied. Yesterday, there was a crucial vote in the Senate. The Finance Committee voted according to party lines to advance the nomination. It will now go to a full floor vote. Do not underestimate the forces that are still working against RFK. And we have a variety of different interests against making America healthy again and holding our public health and medical institutions to account. I never thought that I would say this, but right now, one of the biggest enemies of making America healthy again is the disgraceful, profit-driven medical establishment led by our physician societies, academic institutions, licensing authorities, all in the tank with Big Pharma and Big Food, and they are absolutely terrified of RFK. Look no further than what happened yesterday after this vote tally was announced. Take a look at this, some of the biggest pharma stocks in the USA going down. Now, the vote was according to party lines, but it was what one Republican senator said that concerned me the most, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But first, I want to share with you that there are many senators who are all Democrats right now who are really against RFK. Take a look at some of these statements here. Here's Senator Elizabeth Warren. RFK Jr. is a danger to public health. Every Republican senator who votes yes will own the consequences. When RFK Jr. follows the conspiracy theories instead of science, when he greenlights Trump's anti-abortion agenda, when he cuts healthcare for seniors, remember who voted yes. Well, that's quite a strong moralistic statement from Senator Warren. Turns out that Senator Warren is one of the senators who takes a large amount of money from pharmaceutical companies. And we've had equally forceful statements from other senators, like Senator Bernie Sanders, supposedly the man of the people, who has made various statements against RFK. And he has also put out that he takes no money whatsoever from pharma CEOs. He's phrased that very well indeed, because even though he says he's taken no money from pharma CEOs directly, pharma money still has flowed into his campaigns over the years. But I'm going to share with you now what one senator said, the senator from Louisiana, the Republican Bill Cassidy, who actually is a doctor. He's a gastroenterologist who specialized, of all things, in liver disease, considering the amount of liver disease that we are seeing right now, all because of the metabolic health catastrophe in adults and more alarmingly in children. I would have thought that Senator Bill Cassidy would be more keen to get RFK on board. But to be fair, he did vote yes. But I want you to take a listen to the statement he made regarding working with RFK. Take a listen, and then I am going to share with you my thoughts.
Vaccines save lives. They are safe. They do not cause autism. There are multiple studies that show this. They are a crucial part of our nation's public health response. But as someone who's discussed immunizations with thousands of people, I do recognize that many mothers need reassurance that the vaccine their child is receiving is necessary, effective, and most of all safe. While I'm aligned with Mr. Kennedy as regards ultra-processed food, reforming NIH, and taking on chronic disease, once more, it leaves vaccines. Now, Mr. Kennedy and the administration reached out seeking to reassure me regarding their commitment to protecting the public health benefit of vaccination. To this end, Mr. Kennedy and the administration committed that he and I would have an unprecedentedly close collaborative working relationship if he is confirmed. We will meet or speak multiple times a month. This collaboration will allow us to work well together and therefore to be more effective. Mr. Kennedy has asked for my input into hiring decisions at HHS beyond Senate-confirmed positions, and this aspect of the collaboration will allow us to represent all sides of those folks who are contacting me over this past weekend. He has also committed that he would work within current vaccine approval and safety monitoring systems and not establish parallel systems. If confirmed, he will maintain the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices recommendations without changes. CDC will not remove statements on their website pointing out that vaccines do not cause autism. Mr. Kennedy and the administration also committed that this administration will not use the subversive techniques used under the Biden administration, like sue and settle, to change policies enacted by Congress without first going through Congress. Mr. Kennedy and the administration committed to a strong role of Congress. Aside from he and I meeting regularly, he will come before the Help Committee on a quarterly basis if requested. He committed that the Help Committee chair, whether it's me or someone else, may choose a representative on any board or commission formed to review vaccine safety. If he is confirmed, HHS will provide a 30-day notice to the Help Committee if the agency seeks to make changes to any of our federal vaccine safety monitoring programs, and Help Committee will have the option to call a hearing to further review. These commitments and my expectation that we can have a great working relationship to make America healthy again is the basis of my support. He will be the secretary, but I believe he will also be a partner in working for this end. If Mr. Kennedy is confirmed, I will use my authority as chairman of the Senate Committee with oversight of HHS to rebuff any attempt to remove the public's access to life-saving vaccines without ironclad, causational, scientific evidence that can be accepted and defended before the mainstream scientific community and before Congress. I will watch carefully for any effort to wrongfully sow public fear about vaccines between confusing references of coincidence and anecdote. But my support is built on assurances that this will not have to be a concern, and that he and I can work together to build an agenda to make America healthy again. We need a leader at HHS who will guide President Trump's agenda to make America healthy again. Based on Mr. Kennedy's assurances on vaccines and his platform to positively influence Americans' health, it is my consideration that he will get this done. As I've said, it's been a long, intense process, but I've assessed it as I would assess a patient as a physician. Ultimately, restoring trust in our public health institution is too important, and I think Mr. Kennedy can help get that done. I want Mr. Kennedy to succeed in making America healthy again. His success will be tied to the health of our nation. He has the opportunity to address the most pertinent issues affecting Americans' health. We also need to reform institutions like FDA and NIH, and those, as already been indicated, are my priorities. I look forward to his support in accomplishing this. If confirmed, I look forward to working together with Mr. Kennedy to achieve President Trump's mission of improving the health of all Americans.
Well, where to start with that? Now, Senator Bill Cassidy, he may be a perfectly reasonable gentleman. Maybe he's a nice person when you meet him in real life. But from his demeanor, and I've seen statements from him before, he does seem to me like a dutiful establishment physician. I'm sure he, over the years, has dutifully followed all the guidelines, the robotic establishment doctor who doesn't really question where the guidelines and protocols are coming from, and doesn't really question all of the conflicts of interest at the top. He seems like that kind of doctor to me. And when he talks about working with RFK closely, of course, that's fair enough. There will always be people with different viewpoints, and the people at the top have to work together. But when he talks about mainstream medicine and mainstream science, alarm bells really ring in my mind, because we all know what mainstream anything, especially mainstream science and medicine, really means. It means a group of experts, quote-unquote experts, who are almost always loaded up with conflicts of interest. He talks about maintaining the current CDC policies. The CDC's record over the last few decades has been abysmal. The whole point of RFK and some truly disruptive people getting in at the top is to really shake things up. That whole organization, in my opinion, almost needs to be completely taken apart and rebuilt again to really focus on health and well-being. It has done an atrocious job. When he talks about the shot schedules, especially in children, well, the US schedule in many ways is way off from other nations. So what does it mean to have guarantees in place that everything will stay the same? I want to see proper studies on absolutely everything that's out there in terms of a recommendation from organizations like the CDC. Who would fear that? Conduct randomized control studies into a lot of the more controversial shots which are not given in other countries. This is all about transparency and honesty and ridding our system of the conflicts of interest. It is so interesting because even Senator Warren, when she was absolutely going off on RFK a few days ago, she seemed more concerned about the profits of the manufacturers and not being able to sue drug manufacturers. Because, of course, when you look at the money trail, it's very obvious which senators are completely in the tank with Big Pharma. Second only to Big Pharma is Big Food, a trillion-dollar industry which has devastated the health of the United States over the last few decades. Don't underestimate all of these powers that are working against RFK, and they are trying to tie his hands completely. So that is why, for me, a red flag goes completely up when I hear any politician, especially a doctor politician, who appears to be a complete member of the establishment, who talks like all of those typical doctors out there. My goodness me, do we need a complete revolution in healthcare? We need to bring leaders to the top who really think outside the box, because our current way of thinking, our current medical paradigm is completely broken. So why would you want those same people to lead us out of this catastrophe? We are in a really bad place with the health, not just of the United States, but the entire Western world. And it is my hope that if change happens in countries like the United States, then it will soon spread, especially to the United Kingdom, where I was born, where I grew up, where I went to medical school. I want this to truly be a movement, and we need disruptors at the top. We don't want people at the top who have their hands completely tied, where it's business as usual for those senators at the top, and all of the money flow is still the same. There is no way that we can continue in this direction. So while I accept that this is very good news that RFK is now advancing to a full floor vote over the next few days, let's keep our fingers crossed. Those of us who really care about the health and well-being of the country and don't want to keep the status quo are really hoping that RFK, if he is successfully in the position of HHS Secretary, will really lead a complete transformation in the health of the country. And it really does pain me to say, I take no pleasure in saying that I really believe that some of the biggest forces out there against making America healthy again, because they're making way too much profit, they have MD after their name, and they are medical institutions and medical authorities. That is why the status quo simply won't do. Thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate you watching all of my videos. Feel free to comment down below. Do check out the links in the description down below for my website, the other work I do, and also if you're not already signed up for my free newsletter, do that as well. We have a lot of fun with my newsletter. Hit the like button if you like this video and the subscribe button for more similar videos in the future. Have a great rest of day everyone, and we will speak again very soon.